Whenever you are.
We're going to call the meeting for Akron City Council to order. Clerk will read the roll.
Freeman, Fusco, Hoke, Kamer, Keith, Kilby, Milkovich, Neal, Amobian, Samples, Sims, Somerville, Swirsky.
For those who voluntarily wish to do so, would you please stand? We're going to be led in prayer by Pastor Lori Porter from Love Akron. Immediately following our prayer, we're going to be led in the Pledge of Allegiance. I'm going to ask if Councilman Freeman will be so kind to do that for us.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk will read the minutes from our previously held meeting.
Minutes from the April 22nd, 2019 meeting. Council convened in regular session at 7 p.m. with President Somerville in the chair. All members were present. Minutes of the previous regular meeting were approved. Vote 12-0. Neal abstained. Reading of petitions and communications. Passage of the consent agenda. Report of standing and special committees. Passage and referral of new ordinances and resolutions, representation from various departments and divisions, public speaking period, no further business on a motion by Fusco. Council adjourned at 8:13 p.m. to reconvene in regular session on April 29, 2019, or special call.
Any corrections or additions? Councilman Neal?
Thank you, Madam Chair. There is a correction, and I'm sorry, I tried to open up my pad, but it's in at the end of the discussion where it states about the comment that I made about us needing a plan, and it spoke where there was a comment made by Mr. Hardy about that we do have a plan. Mr. Hardy spoke out of turn. When I spoke about a plan, I'm speaking about us as council having an understanding of a plan. Some of the things that we have discussed relate to us understanding how legislation that has been passed, like the 15-year 100% tax abatement, how those things impact the city's overall plan. When I spoke to that, I was speaking from a budget standpoint, understanding some of the budget concerns that will be coming in the near future. So just wanted that correction in there. And why I'm stating that, I do have a concern about our overall minutes, and that's why I've been abstaining, since they're official historical documents of our meetings, especially since our meetings are taped. I think our minutes need to be a little bit more detailed. I've noticed some of the things that have been brought before us during open comment period, and some of the things that have been said during the horseshoe aren't always in the minutes. And again, since they are the official record of this body and how we conduct business, at some time I would like for us to take a look at that and see if we can make them more detailed. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So Councilman Neal is asking for us to amend the minutes regarding his specific comments. Do we have a motion to amend the minutes? Motion to amend. Is there a second? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Okay.
Letters, petitions, and communications.
Petitions and communications, April 29, 2019. Correspondence from Chico Erithis Versasi regarding the R64 2009 residential resurfacing program.
File.
Correspondence from George and Selena Barnes regarding the R62 2019 arterial collector resurfacing program.
File.
Return showing service of resolution number 89 2019 of the Market Street, North Main Street, and North High Street.
File.
Report of the Assessment Equalization Board 2019 Phase 1 arterial collector resurface program, referenced 62 2019.
File.
Report of the Assessment Equalization Board regarding the 2009 Phase 1 unimproved street resurfacing program, reference 63 2019.
File.
Report of the Assessment Equalization Board regarding the 2019 Phase 1 residential program regarding 64 2019.
File.
Notice of a transfer of a C1, C2 liquor permit to Bay LLC doing business as Bay Drive-Thru at 1605 Triplet Boulevard.
Special attention, Councilman Milkovich.
Notice of a new D5 liquor permit to Rubber City Haunted Houses LLC, 1282 Triplet Boulevard.
Special attention, Councilman Samples. Before you, you do have the consent agenda. All in favor signify by saying aye. The ayes have it.
Roll call and final passage on the consent agenda. Freeman, Fusco, Hope, Kamer, Keith, Kilby, Milkovich, Neal, Amobian, Samples, Somerville, Swirsky.
We're going to now move into our old business rules. Councilwoman Keith.
Thank you, Madam President. The committee would request time.
Time will be granted. Planning, Councilman Fusco.
Time on the agenda.
Time will be granted. Public Service, Councilman Keith.
Time on the agenda, Madam President.
Thank you. Time will be granted.
That's it.
We'll now move into our new business. Public Service.
1 second here. I hate paper clips. Okay. Item number 1, offered by Keith, ordinance approving the report of the Assessment Equalization Board selected pursuant to Section 53.03 of the Code of Ordinances of the City and Resolution Number 63, 2019, to hear and determine all objections to the special assessments for the improvements of certain streets between certain termini in accordance with with Resolution 63, 2019 of the 2019 Phase 1 unimproved street resurfacing program, determining to proceed with the improvement and declare an emergency.
Councilman Keith.
Thank you, Madam President. The committee's report is favorable, and we ask for suspension of the rules.
Any objections? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
And we would just like to begin our resurfacing project since we are doing so many more miles this year.
Thank you. The rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Roll call and final passage. Freeman, Fusco, Hope, Kamer, Keith, Kilby, Milkovich, Neal, Amobian, Samples, Somerville, Swirsky. Item number 2, offered by Keith, ordinance approving the report of the Assessment Equalization Board selected pursuant Section 53.03 of the Code of Ordinances of the City and Resolution 64, 2019, to hear and determine all objections to the special assessments for the improvement of certain streets between certain termini in accordance with Resolution Number 64, 2019, of the 2019 Phase 1 Residential Resurfacing Program, determining to proceed with the improvement and declare an emergency.
Councilman Keith?
Madam President, the committee's report is favorable, and we ask for suspension of the rules for the exact same reason as the last one.
Thank you. Any objections? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended. Any further comment? Councilwoman Keith, on
No.
this piece?
No, but thank you.
Thank you. The rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Roll call and final passage. Freeman, Fusco, Hope, Kamer, Keith, Kilby, Milkovich, Neal, Amobian, Samples, Somerville, Swirsky. Okay, item number 3, offered by Keith, ordinance approving the report of the Assessment Equalization Board selected pursuant to Section 53.03 of the Code of Ordinances of the City and Resolution Number 62, 2019, to hear and determine all objections to the special assessments for the improvement of certain streets between certain termini in accordance with Resolution Number 62, 2019, of the 2019 Phase 1 Arterial Collector Resurfacing Program, determining to proceed with the improvement and declaring an emergency.
Councilwoman Keith?
Thank you, Madam President. As with the first one, this was the unimproved streets. The second one was residential resurfacing streets. And now this one is the arterial collector streets. And so once again, the committee would like this to go forth with a favorable report and suspension of the rules.
Any objections? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Roll call and final passage. Freeman, Fusco, Hope, Kamer, Keith, Kilby, Milkovich, Neal, Amobian, Samples, Somerville, Swirsky. Item number 4 is a substitute offered as an amendment by Councilman Neal. Resolution congratulating the 2019 University of Akron Zips Esports Rocket League Gold Team for winning the 2019 NCAA Esports Championship, commending the players, their coaches, staff, administrators, and fans, and wishing them well and declaring an emergency.
Councilman Neal?
Madam President, like to poll my committee for a favorable report with suspension of rules. Thank you for reminding us that we forgot that this afternoon. Councilman Freeman? Aye. Councilman Kamer? Aye. Councilwoman Mosley Samples? Okay. Madam Chair, the committee's report is favorable, and we ask for a suspension of the rules.
Any objections? Seeing and hearing none, the rules have been suspended.
What I'd like to do is have Mr. Fay, Coach Fay, who spoke to us this afternoon, come to the mic, and he can introduce us to his players and give us a little background information before we go to questions.
Thank you very much, council members. My name is Michael Fay. I'm the director and head coach of the esports program at the University of Akron. I'd like to introduce you to our Varsity Rocket League team, one of the first esports teams at the University of Akron to represent the university at national competition. The team managed to place 3rd in nationals in the fall season, and then went on to place 1st at the NCAA Final Four Fan Fest. And they also got their competition televised on TBS. And they've done a really fantastic job, put in a lot of hard work, and represented the university and the city of Akron very, very well. And so I'd like to first introduce our student support staff, Nick McKay, who is our student coach, and Aiden Bellucci, who is our student team manager. They have done a fantastic job organizing the team, helping to facilitate practices, finding them opponents to practice against. And then I'd also like to recognize our gold team, which consists of Isaac Stecker, Buzz Krager, and Will Weiser. And then we also have with us Phil Jackson, who represents our blue team. He's one of the blue team members who didn't have class today. And so we're really excited. Thank you so much for recognizing us, and thank you for your time.
Well, on behalf of council, again, we want to say congratulations. We had a very insightful conversation this afternoon just about the potential, economic potential, not just your sport, but the business side of your sport and the recreation side of your sport and what it could mean for our city. So we look forward to engaging you and your coach and having you guys educate us as to the potential that it can mean for us as a city of Akron. And again, congratulations on being national champions.
Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Neal. Any further comments?
No, ma'am, I think, do we have to vote?
Yeah, we're going to vote on it. So the rules have been suspended. The committee's report is favorable. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it.
Okay, roll call and final passage. Freeman, Fusco, Hope, Kamer, Keith, Kilby, Milkovich, Neal, Amobian, Samples, Somerville, Swirsky.
We've now come to the portion of our meeting that we refer to as our public comment period. If you wish to speak to council during this time, you may approach the podium. We're going to ask that you please sign in, state your full name, spell your last name, and give us your address. You will have 3 minutes to speak to this body. Speakers are reminded that this is an official meeting. Remarks should be kept respectful and germane to council business. Speakers should refrain from making any personal attacks. Anyone who breaches decorum will be ruled out of order and may be removed from council chambers. Is there anyone here in the audience that would like to speak during our public comment period?
Thank you. My name is Betty Brazil, 161 Mustard Street, Akron, Ohio, 44304. I'm down here again concerning my home. I did have a call, but I wasn't home. I called back. I didn't receive any call back. I called Ms. Samples. She wasn't there. I left a message, but I didn't receive a call back. I still haven't received a call from this lady, I think Ms. Helen. But tonight, Mr. Somerville did say that they was working on it. The only thing I want to know now is if they're not going to do it, because I've been hearing it over and over and over, and I've been waiting, not only me, but the rest of the neighbors. My thing is now, if you're not going to do it, just tell me that you're not going to do it. You're wasting your time coming down here. I know your time is precious, mine is too. And if you are going to do it, whoever, tell me when, because I'm busy, I go out of town a lot, and I have to make arrangements around my job to be there if they're going to do it. And if you're not going to do it, just tell me so I can move on or do something else or whatever, because I don't want to get it any worse, because it is getting worse. And I just don't want it to come to the point where they say, well, it's been so long and we can't do anything now. But I know for a fact it's from the construction that was there. So this is what I'm asking now.
Thank you, Mrs. Brazil. I'll speak with you after the meeting, okay?
Okay.
Give you an update.
All right.
Hello, my name is Gary Mikes. I'm the Executive Director of Houses for the Homeless. I live at 85 Kent Place, 44305. I was here back in the summer, and we had a conversation about land bank, about maybe that there should be something changed about land bank because they're having a problem with the system of getting these houses to the public to be able to, for people to purchase the houses that are adequate to be able to purchase to fix up to put families in. Well, we just had land bank just sold us a house to Houses for the Homeless. I'm at Homeless Charity and Village, and the moment that they purchased a house, they condemned the house and then ordered them to get a construction dumpster and clean up the house on the outside, and then said that they had to fix the house after they condemned it. Is this the right order to do this? I don't think so. I mean, if we're going to sell houses to charities to help the poor people with housing, why right whenever you sell it to them, you condemn the house? and then order them to go and rent a construction dumpster to clean up somebody else's mess that was left with the house. You're just passing on one problem from one person to another just to try to help other people. Can we please look at a resolution to fix land bank? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mice, for sharing. Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to speak during our public comment period?
Good evening, council members. Carol Coleman Crane, owner of Team Towing and Service in Akron on Carroll Street, Ward 4. I'm sorry, Ward 5. Those of you that may not know me, I own Team Towing and Service, and we have 6 flatbeds, 5 wheel lifts. We have 6 service vehicles. We just got a new service vehicle. We tow for, our biggest contract is AAA in Akron and the post office and Ohio State Highway Patrol. We are on the rotation for the Ohio Highway Patrol and various other members of the community that don't have, they're not involved in a motor club. I wanted to, for those of you that may not have seen a map of the towing districts in Akron, I can't enlarge that, but I can just kind of show this to you. The way this is mapped out, we have this district here. This is in the northern part of the Akron area. District 1, over here is District 2. District 1 and District 2, for those of you that can see this large area, those 2 districts are being serviced by one gentleman, Bob Bowers. District 3, this is this area. This is down by 224. That's being serviced by Greg of Greg's Towing. 4, right here, this district here is being serviced by Johnny's Towing. John owns Johnny's Towing and Interstate Towing, and I believe 2 impound lots up in the northern area outside of Akron. District 5 is, it says it's Bondurant's Towings, but it is also being serviced by Greg's Towing. So Greg has District 3 and District 5. This is the District 6. This is Miller's, and this is District 7, which is Stan's. So this is where my business is, this District 5. This is in Tara's ward. This is the area that would make the most sense since this is where my business is located.
You have about 30 seconds.
Thank you. And Johnny's Towing, which is this area, is a very large, if you look at the statistics, it's probably the largest district. This could be probably broken down and shared with Kinney's. What I've been asking for is a fair and equal distribution of these districts. My business has all of the requirements from the Ohio Revised Code, as well does Kinney's, to be a part of this shared districts. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mrs. Crane.
My name is Steve Nome. It's N-O-M-E. I live at 1928 6th Street, Cuyahoga Falls, and I'm here again about the retirees' insurance. As I was discussing the highlights of last week's council meeting with a fellow city retiree who is also facing the profound financial impact of losing the affordable city insurance coverage for his spouse, we pondered a what-if situation. When council members were actually addressing the community's concern over the lack of availability of soccer fields on Copley Road, I think it was Mr. Harvey, the fellow with the beard you spoke with, somebody from the city. At any rate, what if he listened to all your comments and then said, thank you for your comments, and sat down without responding? And I know a request was made to the law department for a legal opinion by tonight's council meeting regarding agreements the city has made with organizations for use of city-owned property. What if the law director merely said, thank you for your comments, and did not prepare a legal opinion? If council found the city administration to be so unresponsive, would you simply shrug your shoulders and say, oh, well, what would you do? Now, it's been well over a year and a half since I started coming to council meetings regularly. I have yet to hear solid documentation to justify taking affordable spousal coverage away from retirees. A general "it's too expensive" doesn't hold much water when it's not backed up with facts. I don't understand how you came up with the monthly $60 family fee for retirees or active employees. And I haven't been saying that's what it needs to be returned to. What I've been repeatedly asking for, an honest, unbiased review of the health insurance coverage the city offers, and a determination whether they can offer it to a relatively small cluster of retirees with spouses under the age of 65 at an affordable cost. Perhaps more than the $30 a month they'd been paying, but much less than the $1,336 a month that they have to pay now if they want to keep city cards. So far, I've seen beekeepers and soccer enthusiasts get an immediate response from the city in response to their public comments. I think the retirees who worked hard for the city for over 30 years and their spouses deserve the same. And I'm ending with the same question I've been asking for 3 weeks now. Why do you think the people of Ireland deserve more attention from council than City of Akron retirees? I still would like an answer, and I'm not getting it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Nome. Anyone else wishing to speak during our public comment period?
Good evening, council. My name is Harrington Hargrove. I live at 1008 Laurel Avenue, Akron, Ohio, 44307, Ward 3. And I just want to say that you have a 10 street program. And for 40 years, Ward 3 has been redlined, and we've never been on one street. We haven't had funding. It was the beginning of urban renewal, Ward 3, for those that don't know. And in 40 years, the black community in Ward 3 has been denied. And I come here on a regular basis asking this council to do something. And 40 years, that's too long. And it doesn't take much to make this problem go away if council would allocate funding. That's the only way it's going to get done. And I'm being redlined as I speak. I've been trying to come down here to the council to make arrangements to fill out an application for funding. And over 2 months, I've been denied an opportunity just to fill out the form, an application. 2 months. It's time for this council to change this. How can you say it hasn't been, we have been discriminated against? Red line, I like to use the word red line. That's the urgency of our community in Ward 3. 40 years of urban renewal, and in the black community where they declared the hub zone 1, no funding. Opportunity Park, First Merit, Ohio Bell, all that's under urban renewal, over 40 years. And if you ride by our community, the designated hub zone, empowerment zone, not one new business in 40 years. No funding in Ward 3 in 40 years. The longest community that has not been addressed in economic development, the longest community in Akron, Ohio, all-American city. And like I say, not for the African American, it's a disgrace. It truly is how this council has done the black community. And like no remorse. I've talked to people, oh, you know how it is. Yeah, I know how it is. We're being redlined and discriminated against. Or we can't do anything about it because we can't get together, redlined and discriminated against. Ward 3 has been redlined for 40 years when it comes to the black community. 40. The longest running ward in the city of Akron. And maybe over on the east side on Arlington, they might be running a close second, because you ride through that neighborhood, there's no new minority development. So I'm asking this council to do something about it. I'm at least asking to set where I can come and fill out an application, even if you deny me. That's fine.
Sir, your time is up.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hargrove, and I'll speak with you after the meeting. Anyone else wishing to speak during our public comment period? Seeing and hearing none, we will close our public comment period and move into our committee assignments. Rules, Councilman Keith. Budget and Finance, Councilman Freeman. Planning, Councilman Fusco. Public Service, Councilman Keith. Public Utilities, Councilman Samples. Public Safety, Councilman Kamer. Parks and Rec, Councilman Neal. Housing, Councilman Kilby. Health and Social Services, Councilwoman Amobian. Economic Development, Councilman Swirsky.
12:30.
2:45. Green Committee, Councilman Swirsky.
12:30.
Thank you. Is there anything else coming before council? Oh, Councilman Samples.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to rise and recognize Amir Hussein, who has been, sorry, I knew I was going to mess it up. I tried. Who has been shadowing me for the month of April. I put a post up back in February for people to get to know their local government, and I got several responses of people who were interested in knowing what we do down here at City Hall. I had one shadow in March. They weren't able to finish the whole month, but Mr. Hussein has been here every Monday for committee and council for the month of April, and he seems to enjoy it, maybe a little too much. And so I really want to thank him for taking the time to really get to know how city government works and getting to know some of the elected officials here around this horseshoe. And I just wanted to give him an opportunity to speak for 3 minutes, or Bob will cut you off. You got to go around.
So, Amar Hussein, I'm your local pizza guy. I'm actually really good at it. But yeah, Tara posted something. I ran with it, and wow. You'd be really surprised at how unique, and I learned something that's called a charter. So Summit County is a charter county. Basically, we can govern ourselves a little more than other counties, cities, towns, areas, so on and so forth. And I tell you what, it was a really interesting experience. It's a lot more complicated than it can come off to the public, and it's a lot more, or not as complicated as it may seem. So it's like a double-edged sword with a really unique sense of balance that isn't easily absorbed by just anybody or any subject of that matter. I don't really know what exactly anybody wants to really hear, so I'll just tell you what I feel. Dude, this is sweet. As an immigrant, as somebody who, from the luck of the draw, went from possibly being killed in a third world country based on just the name that was given to me before I was even born, to stand here before you as an individual business owner, as a father, as a fellow citizen. Be thankful, man. I understand, yes, there is discrimination. Trust me, I'm a 6-foot Arab Muslim guy. Let me tell you a little something about discrimination. We can go down to Akron Canton Airport, I'll show you. Discrimination is not really what you think it is sometimes, because really, sometimes people are just evil, and they're going to come at you for whatever they can find at you. You know, I get racist terms thrown my way all the time, but what are you going to call me, short? You're going to call me ugly? You're going to call me broke? You can call me a loser? No, you have nothing else. Also, this morning, or this afternoon's meeting was like the most enthralled I've ever been. Like, I was so excited. They started talking about you esport guys. Don't get me wrong, I've known you guys were coming for a long time. I actually, for the first time in my whole month, I saw Mr. Neal and Ms. Amobian smile. I saw their teeth twice. So you guys should be really excited. Maybe, you know, it's a little late for me now, so there's no position that I can run for or can offer anything. But Mr. Neal mentioned earlier that the council can designate committees to help manage and everything, and it'd be my pleasure if maybe I could manage the committee that can communicate between esports with Akron U and to council. And man, I'm good in the hood, man. I promise you, man. I can speak the same lingo. I grew up on Edgewood. I know what it's about. But also, I spent a lot of time around the university, a lot of time around the corporate life. And as the biggest minority in this town, whether it's my race or my faith, I guess maybe my height too, or maybe the color of my shirt, whatever you want it to be, man, it'd be my pleasure if there was an opportunity for me to be able to serve this community and maybe be that voice and be that communication between the people, between council, because at the end of the day, man, they shop at Circle K too. They got to stand in that line if it's after 11 o'clock at night. They still have to pay their property taxes too, and they don't get paid that much. They can make more by not doing this, and so can I, but I don't want to. I want to be able to give back to this city. You may know my brother was innocently murdered in my restaurant a few years back, and multiple detectives who have nothing, they don't owe me anything, they don't know me. They dedicated 200 man-hours to catching an evil person, and that evil person will be locked away for the rest of their lives. They make less than some of my employees. Some of these detectives make less than I make. They work harder than any of us here can work. So we need to remember that. And again, esports guys, dude, sweet. Now we have a soccer title and an esports title. If you play Madden or Clash of Clans, let's go. Maybe you can jump in my clan, but again, council, look at Neal. He's smiling again. You see his teeth? You see it? And now we see everybody's teeth. So, as Bob says, the greatest show on earth. Man, maybe you guys need an international character instead of a diverse one. That is all. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Keith?
Thank you, Madam President. I received an email yesterday that I wanted to share with council. Last week, we had the opportunity to have the Firestone High School robotics team down here, and I just want, as all of you know, they went to competition in Louisville, and the president of the club wrote to me and she said, Marilyn, I'm sitting in Louisville, Kentucky with Coach Spack. We wanted to let you and council know that our trip to the VEX robotics competition was highly successful. One of our teams, Team B, and those were the kids in the lab coats, okay, won the design award. The design award is the second highest adjunct award at the world competition. Only 6 teams from around the world were given this award, and Firestone was one of them. Okay, so they'll follow up with some pictures, but I thank all of you for applauding all of our kids. They're all ours, and they shine brightly. A lot of times not even at competition, but we're so fortunate, and also with our Akron U team that's down here today, to be able to applaud these positive things. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilwoman Mobian?
Thank you. I'll try to smile more often and show my teeth. But the real reason I was smiling this afternoon is because I don't understand esports, and I'm trying to understand it, and I will be visiting you just to see what it's about, because it sounds very exciting. So, congratulations. Thank you.
Anything else coming before council? Before we adjourn, just a reminder to all council members that this Friday, City of Akron, Friday before election report is due Friday by 12 noon. Can we have a motion to excuse Councilwoman Sims? Second, all in favor signify by saying aye. Do we have a motion for adjournment? Very good. Seeing no objections, we're adjourned.